a city in mourning.
This is certainly a heartbreaking day. The brave men and women of Detroit Police Department.
New information emerging about the veteran officer who made the ultimate sacrifice.
A police officer, a family man, a hero.
Was a natural leader in every situation.
What we're learning about those moments last night as he rushed into action.
And the condition of his partner still recovering from gunshot wounds.
Plus, the frantic moments in the neighborhood.
Like I said, he's that little brown patch right there. That's where he slipped at.
And the man in custody, his criminal history, and what his family is revealing to Action News.
It is a difficult day for all of Detroit as we're learning about the deep loss of one of our city's finest.
Rasheen McClain has been with the department for 16 years. Tonight, he leaves behind a wife and 2 stepchildren. His leadership is being described as heroic.
And his partner, Officer Felipe Batumbisi, is recovering in the hospital. He's been on the force for only 2.5 years.
Tonight, we have Team 7 coverage. Kimberly Craig is uncovering new information about the suspect and the investigation.
But we begin with 7 Action News reporter Jen Shan. She's live at Sinai Grace, where Officer Batumbisi is recovering. Jen, what have you learned?
Yeah, Glenda, Allen, dark moments last night and today for the Detroit Police Department. Chief James Craig noting they lost one of their own. Now, last night, 300-some officers were here at Sinai Grace to show support for both of those officers who were shot. One of them, as you mentioned, a 16-year veteran of the force, Officer Rasheen McClain, died from his injuries.
Rasheen McClain, by all accounts, was an officer that everyone looked up to, was a natural leader.
We're responding to a report of a home invasion on Wyoming and Chippewa Wednesday night, which later turned out to be a domestic situation. Officer Rasheen McClain was the first one in the house and the first one down the stairs, according to Mayor Mike Duggan.
The suspect came out from the left. He fired quickly twice,
striking both Officer McClain and his partner, Officer Felipe Batumbisi. McClain was shot in the neck and later died at Sinai Grace Hospital. It's a loss not only for the 12th precinct, where both officers are assigned, but for the entire Detroit Police Department. Officer McClain, seen here in a recent video, was a 16-year veteran of the force, an officer others looked up to.
I had an opportunity to look at his body-worn camera. No surprise that when he arrived at the scene, he was in charge. He understood that he was faced with a very dangerous situation.
Officer Batumbisi, shot in the leg, is expected to recover. Sources say he's from Cameroon, a military veteran and a very hard worker. Via phone, we spoke to a retired DPD officer who trained Officer McClain when he first joined the force.
He was always a good student, exemplary, very squared away as a cadet. He always worked hard. When I found out what had happened, my heart was just hurt.
Officer McClain leaves behind a wife and 2 stepchildren. He is the 9th Detroit police officer to be killed in the line of duty since 2010. Still ahead at 6 o'clock, you will hear much more from that retired officer who trained Officer McClain. And again, Officer McClain's partner, Officer Batumbisi, is here at Sinai Grace. He is expected to recover. For now, live in Detroit, Jen Shantz, 7 Action News.
Just a very difficult time for the city, for law enforcement, for family members. Everyone is just mourning the loss of that brave man.
Way too many officers gone in this short period of time in the city of Detroit. 2 incredible men. Jen, thank you for sharing that with us. Our team coverage continues now with 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig. She spoke with a family member of the suspected gunman and joins us live from Detroit. Heavy hearts, Kim.
Yeah, this suspect has a history of assaulting people, and police say 2 weeks ago he actually came here to this house on Wyoming where his estranged girlfriend lives. Police say that case was still under investigation when he came back last night and allegedly shot 2 officers, killing Officer McClain.
I know he felt, his life was just over. He already just got off. I think he's still on parole. He lived here.
His cousin is the 28-year-old accused cop killer, a man he says is more like a brother who came to live with him and his family after he got out of prison earlier this year.
Overall, he probably just felt like, I'm not about to go back to jail. And if I go back to jail, I might not see the light again.
And his cousin won't if he's charged and convicted for killing Detroit police officer Rasheen McClain and wounding his partner. It happened last night when they were responding to a report of a home invasion here on Wyoming near Chippewa on the city's west side. Police say the suspect's estranged girlfriend lives here, but she wasn't home when he showed up.
And it was very clear that this suspect was trying to bait the officers. He had a presence of mind, but also what was clear, he wanted suicide by cop.
Like, we didn't know about his little temper tantrums or whatever, but it always will get resolved. He always will find his chill, and like, you know, he'll walk it off. Or, you know, we'll probably smoke a cigarette, and, you know, that'd be about it.
We're not showing the suspect's face because he has not been charged, but in 2011, he was facing attempted murder and carjacking charges. He was found not guilty of those, but still convicted on a weapons charge. He got out of prison earlier this year for assault and another weapons case.
Just got home from doing, like, you know, 9 years, 10 years almost.
In prison?
In prison. And come out not even, you know, whole year and go back in for something even more serious.
And the suspect sustained a gunshot wound when he opened fire on officers again outside this house. He was arrested just one street over, and we can tell you that we do expect that he will be charged in the coming days. Reporting live on Detroit's West Side, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action News. Back to you.
All right, Kim, thank you. This shooting is the latest tragedy to rock the Detroit Police Department. 9 members of the force have now lost their lives while on duty in the past decade. The names and faces you see here were all killed while serving the people and the city of Detroit.
And be sure to stay with 7 Action News both on air and online at WXYZ.com for continuing coverage of this deadly police shooting. And coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, how Officer McClain is being remembered and honored by those close to him on the force.